Hello, Kelly Schoembs.
Hey, Kyla, how are you?
I'm
You
good.
got
How
it
are
right.
you? I know. I always struggle with your last name, so thank you
Yeah,
for the tutorial
true.
before we got started.
All right.
So, Kelly Schoembs, welcome to Coffee with Kyla.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. If you could share with us your role with LOTH and a little bit of your background, that'll cue up our next topic.
Sure. So I'm the HR director for LOTH. I've been with LOTH actually just exactly 2 years, May 2018. And I've been in HR my entire career. So I spent almost 20 years with a Fortune 100 company and had a variety of different roles in HR. But yeah, I've been with LOTH for the last couple of years now.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited to have you. And our topic today is really about the return to work playbook and how you get your organization ready to return to the office. I think we're at this really strange yet unique time where we see furniture, technology, and HR really coming together to make sure that the space is ready, the technology is ready, and our associates feel safe.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate what you've done for LOTH, and what we're doing is we're sharing our story so that hopefully it helps someone kind of wrap their head around how to get started with a playbook. So, but first, my question that I ask everyone is, what behavior have you started during this time that you hope becomes a habit?
Um, One that struck me, I was thinking about this because I know you've asked everyone that question, which I think is so fun to hear. Um, I feel I can't believe it actually took a pandemic to realize this was even an option, but I've done Zoom calls with family and friends that
Mhm.
it's been a blast. And so I have friends, all over the country. As family, and I did a wine tasting with a California winery a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago
that's
with
so
some friends.
fun.
And I was like, gosh, this is really a cool thing that, we can
Yeah,
use technology to connect with people that you
yeah.
otherwise might not get the chance to see very often.
I love that answer. My husband and I have been trying to have happy hours with friends every Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, people that especially our friends that are out of town, you just, I'll call them. And, that weeks and months go by without that connection. So that's a great answer. I love that.
It's fun.
So if you could share just a little bit, we have a lot of us, our customers and clients that are really struggling with where to even start with this playbook. We've gotten the return to work green light, and we've talked a lot about the furniture and the spaces and things that you can do for your associates, but this playbook idea is really important to making people feel safe and incorporating that with the built environment. Can you share with us where you even started?
Yeah, and it's almost like it's this constant evolution. It feels like since end of February, it's one thing that sort of builds on the next as we're
Yeah.
all learning and just figuring this out. With the playbook in particular, I think, we started getting some signals that some level of return to work would be coming relatively soon, and we didn't know exactly what that would mean. But I started, I think, by trying to gather some best practices that I was just finding out on the internet, to be honest, and doing some research and seeing, is anyone talking about this yet, and trying to have some conversations. And then really quickly, we decided to create a task force that brought in representatives from all of our divisions, all of our locations, trying to look at it from a really well-rounded way, so that we could have some really good dialogue about what's important to people. What do people need to see? What do people need to know?
Yeah.
And what are the things that are kind of behind the scenes that others might be experts in, that we can just bring all together?
Yeah, so I had the privilege of being on your task
Yes,
force.
I had the
Um,
privilege of having you on the task force.
thank you. But I think that is so important. And we talk about that a lot when you're tackling any kind of project. Make sure you have a well-rounded team so that we're getting the best information, the best practices available. So like I said, there's so much cross-reference going on right now that you need to make sure the space is ready, that the PPE is there, the cleanability, all those things need to come together. So I think creating a task force is a great first step. So can you share a little bit? I know you have some background in change management, and I recently became change management certified. And I think that taking your people through all of this is really a key element. Can you share a little bit on your communication strategy and the importance of really focusing on our associates in that change management idea?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I sort of start with, for myself, I'm a why person. I like to understand why something's happening.
Yeah.
And I think
that's why you fit in so well at LOTH.
So I think for me, it was really important to be able to link whatever changes we were implementing or, new processes to what was driving that. And I really relied heavily on a lot of great information I felt we were getting from the state of Ohio and from the CDC and other resources so that we could kind of start from a fact-based starting point and then use that to say, this is why this is happening. And then, I think it helps that, even if there are changes happening that either aren't the most, popular or they're just different. They're harder to get used to. If you understand why and where it's coming from, I think it's a little easier to wrap your head around.
Yeah, totally. We talk about the why. That's why I made the joke continually. As long as you communicate why those things are being implemented and the thought process we went through to get there, I think people have some empathy on those decision makers and kind of relate it to what's changing for them personally. The other thing that we worked a lot on is signage within the space to support all of these protocols. So our playbook does a really good job of outlining, how to host a customer in this time. If we are not doing that, what is our mask protocol? What is our cleanability protocol? So can you talk a little bit about the importance of having signage in the environment to help support those?
Yeah, well, I think it kind of goes back to that change management question too, that we all learn in different ways. We digest things in different ways. So the playbook is one place you can go and know that everything's sort of consolidated there. But I think as you're getting used to new things, you need visual clues and you need to hear things more than once. And so having that signage up to just make it really easy and not force, our entire workforce to memorize a detailed document, right? But rather to say like, aha, that's right. That's a cue that, that's something that's important, that's changed, that's, something I need to be aware of.
Yeah. So we worked internally with our marketing department, which I think is really helpful because our signage can speak to our culture. So, there's a little bit of fun element in there to make sure that it's not rules and regulation and all doom and gloom, that really this is to keep all of us safe. We're all in this together. And that just the extra signage just helps support that a little more.
Great.
So Kelly, if you had some key nuggets of advice for our followers here today, for that beginning the return to work playbook, kind of the strengths and things that they really need to keep top of mind. Can you just give a couple nuggets of advice for those people?
Well, I mean, I guess what worked for us, or worked, I think in our case was, again, this is probably one of the strongest lessons I've had in the power of teamwork. I've heard you say this before as it relates to the pandemic, that really no one is an expert in a pandemic. Well, I suppose there's some scientists that are, but generally us in the workplace are not. But we all do have areas of expertise. And when you bring those in together and kind of layered on top of each other, you really can, accomplish amazing things. And I think from the very beginning, anything that started happening with respect to the coronavirus was a group discussion. It was a lot of different perspectives. And, in this case, the task force itself we were really privileged that we have workplace designers that already have that knowledge and can make those changes. And then we have people who are expert on facilities, and we have people who are expert on purchasing, and we have, people on the team who are expert in just, communication and change management. And so you bring all of those things together, and really it'd be unrealistic for one person to be able to accomplish it. And I've just found that colleagues in just any industry are very open and happy to share and talk about what's been happening in their own workplaces. Yeah. So I think if you reach out and you find, similarly situated individuals who are having to become a COVID champion overnight, or have to come up with new policies, there are others in your shoes, and very, very happy to share whatever's worked for them. Yeah. And, it's a great starting point.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Kelly, thank you so much for your time. And again, thank you for your leadership and what you've done internally for LOTH, and spearheaded our return to work playbook. I think it's really helpful for our associates to feel ready and safe, and that we've really kind of covered the bases. So thank you again. And we appreciate having you on Coffee with Kyla.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, Kelly.
Thanks. Bye-bye.